over the past couple weeks, I have stumbled upon something that I wasn't sure was a thing. I know who Carlos Correa is. I know he's one of the best players in baseball. I know he's a 2017 World Series champion. I know he's the 2015 American League Rookie of the Year. I was not aware that he was an absolute massive mixed martial arts fan. I'm not just talking about a guy who watches, the random pay-per-view here or there. This guy is die hard. He can go toe-to-toe with any of you, including me, on MMA trivia, knowledge, all that stuff and more. And so it's a great pleasure and honor to be joined by Carlos Correa as we get you set for tonight's UFC card on ESPN. Carlos, how are you, my man?
Ariel, my guy, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really well. It's been a lot of fun talking to you over the past couple of weeks about MMA and finding out about your love of the sport. So let me ask you this before we get into tonight's card. Are you still walking around with your chest puffed out because you're the one who called that Justin Gaethje was going to beat Tony Ferguson? You called it. You put your reputation on the line. Are you still beaming after making that pick?
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I tell my brother Lance that we share the podcast with all the time, brother. If I'm going to say something like that on your show, I better be 100% sure. And I'm glad I was.
And you're referring to Lance McCullers, also of the Houston Astros. You guys just launched your own podcast about fighting only, the Walkout Podcast. Nothing else, right? It's just MMA related. You're not talking about baseball or anything like that.
No, right now we're MMA heavy. We're talking about MMA. Obviously, MMA, the first sport back. We're very excited. We love this sport. We're passionate about it, as you know. And, we've been talking a lot of MMA in there. We had Henry Cejudo on the show. We had Michelle Watterson on the show. So it's been a great experience. We had you on the show also. So it's been really cool, really awesome meeting new people and, getting to pick their brains and learn even more about MMA.
Yeah, I heard through the grapevine as we're talking to Carlos Correa of the Houston Astros that my segment was the most downloaded one in the history of your show. Like people care about Henry and Michelle, but they really wanted to hear from me. Accurate or inaccurate?
That's accurate. That's accurate. That's the best reviews we've gotten so far when you were in there.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. As a hardcore fan, I've said it over the past couple of days. I'm actually enjoying the fights without the fans, hearing the corners, hearing the punches, hearing the kicks. For you, as a fan watching these at home, do you feel like we're getting a lesser product, or are you enjoying it as well?
Oh, I'm loving it, brother. You get to hear the corners, like you said. The punches sound a lot louder. The fighters talking about, listening to Cormier's advice and winning fights because of it. I mean, I'm loving every single second of it, man. I think it's great. I love the fact that fans are not booing after a great grappling match like the Mitchell fight. Because they just want to see knockouts and all that striking. I really appreciate the grappling. I think the technique takes a lot of years to master. And we see guys like Mitchell and Khabib and all those guys grappling and people booing. It just pisses me off. So I love the fact that they're not getting booed and, they're fighting out there, man, during these tough times. So you got to respect that. As an athlete, I really respect what they're doing out there.
Talking to Carlos Correa of the Houston Astros, as you watch these fights, Carlos, does it give you hope that, hey, maybe beforehand you were like, I don't know, empty crowd, empty arena, empty stadium, testing all this stuff. Does this give you hope that baseball can return after seeing what the UFC has done this past week?
Absolutely. It gives me a lot of hope, man. We can't wait. We talk every single day about when the season might restart. And I can't really wait. It's been a long time without baseball. We've been working out at home every single day, trying to stay in shape for whenever we get that call that we got to go back to spring training. And watching these MMA fights in the UFC, it gives everybody a lot of hope, man. If they're able to do it, we're able to do it, man. And obviously, we gotta make sure everything is said that we're going to be taken care of. Our families are going to be taken care of. The health protocols are going to be there. And we're going to get back to playing the game that we love and that the fans love so much that they miss.
Back to baseball in a second, but I just want to ask you about the fight card tonight. I'm giving you the entire card at your disposal. Which fight in particular are you most looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the Dan Ige versus Barboza card. I think that's the most intriguing for me. Because I've been following Dan Ige since I saw that he trained with Khabib. Khabib is my favorite fighter. And Barboza going down to 145. I want to see how he looks going back there. But that's the most interesting fight for me. And obviously the main event is really important. You got Overeem that's been around for a long time, and then Walt Harris that's been knocking people out left and right. So I think that fight's going to end quick. first 2 rounds is going to be over, so that's going to be fun to watch also.
Why is Khabib your favorite fighter?
I just love I've been following Khabib. The first time I saw Khabib was on that fight against Barbosa. I never heard of him before. I watched him against Barbosa. I saw a dominant performance, and you know me. I went back to all his fights, and I watched every single one of his fights, and I said, I don't think anybody can beat this guy at lightweight. The technique, the work ethic. I watched all the videos that they have of him in YouTube when he's in Dagestan training with his people and his father. And, you know, when you see guys that dedicated and with that work ethic and that pride of just winning and fighting for legacy, I think it's hard to beat guys like that. They're not only ambitious about money and only care about money. You know, this guy cares about his legacy. This guy wants to beat the best out there, and this guy want to retire undefeated. And he's only lost 1 round, and that was 3rd round against Conor McGregor in his UFC career. So I don't see anybody beating that guy, man. I love his technique.
We're talking to Carlos Correa of the Houston Astros, and last week you were on Ariel the Bad Guy with Chael P. Sonnen and I, and that got me thinking, Carlos, you know, Chael, one of the all-time great heels, bad guys in the history of MMA, right? You know what the term heel means, right, from pro wrestling? Yep. Chael's the best. And let's be honest, Astros are kind of the heel right now in Major League Baseball. Do you look at someone like Chael and the way he handles getting booed in the heat and stuff, and do you almost like, as you were getting ready for the season to start and we thought it would be in front of fans, say like, okay, maybe we need to embrace this, you know, forget the boos, forget the hate, all that stuff. Maybe we need to play this up a little more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the boos are not a problem. You know, that's part of the game of what happened. But I definitely will give Chael a call and get some advice from him and to see how to embrace all that.
Yeah, because he's the one who actually like eggs it on, right? He kind of thrives in those conditions. At it. Doesn't get rattled by it, right?
No, absolutely. He handles it really well. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be calling Chael and talking to him for a couple of hours about all that.
I love it. I'll give you his number after this. Talking to Carlos Correa of the Houston Astros. Carlos, I have to ask you about comments from Blake Snell earlier this week. Did you hear what he had to say about the revenue split between the players and the owners, saying that he won't come back if he doesn't get, 100% of his pay, and Bryce Harper has backed him up as well? If you did hear those comments, what do you make of them? Do you agree with Blake?
I heard the comments, and I think he was just being honest. He was saying what he felt. A lot of people from different perspectives, obviously, might see it wrong. Some people might see it right. Honestly, I just want to get back to play baseball and find the best options for us to get back out there. I want to be able to I want MLB to ensure that we're going to be taken care of, that we're going to, follow all the health protocols, and our families and us players, we're going to be, healthy during this process. But at the same time, we sign contracts that, they got to follow up, and, we're supposed to get paid a certain amount of money. And right now we're only probably going to play 50% of the season. So, we have a great union. We have the Players Association is one of the best out there, and obviously in baseball, it's one of the best unions out there. So, they're going to be working it all out. They're going to be taking care of us. If we don't agree to those things, then it's not going to happen. But I'm sure we're gonna reach a deal where both parties are going to agree and be happy with. So I'm not too concerned about that.
You guys have a great union. MMA fighters don't. And I noticed at the beginning of this conversation you talked about everyone sticking together. Do you think that, like, if a fighter asked you, hey, should we unionize, would you say yes to them? Do you think that they should do that? No, I know you know the sport very well in the inner workings. Do you think it would behoove them to do that?
I think if all the fighters come together and form a great union, I think they can get what they want. Obviously, UFC is a sport that a lot of people follow. It's a sport that a lot of us love. And, obviously you always hear of fighters not getting paid what they're worth. And you hate to see that as an athlete, especially because, you put in hours of work in the sport of MMA. You're getting beat up. I mean, you saw it on the last fight, man. Anthony Smith, broken nose, broken orbital bone, losing teeth. You put your life on the line, and you wanna get paid what you're worth. So I think if all the big names in MMA get together, then they can get what they want at the end of the day. Because without them, there's no event. Without them, there's no pay-per-view. Without them, there's no money. So they are the A side on this. So
if they come to you right now and say we're back on July 1st, but you're getting 50% of your pay, what are you saying to them?
So if we get back July 1st, that means we play July, August, September, October. That we play 4 months. So I don't know. I gotta see the numbers. I gotta check, but we definitely want to play. If we don't play, we don't get paid. If we don't play MLB, don't make any money. So we gotta reach an agreement where we both are happy and we agree to. But I think if we only play half the season and 15% of our pay, I will play for the time that we play. Obviously, our contract is for 162 games. So if we play 81, then getting paid half of it sounds right.
Okay, fair enough. And by the way, we're hoping that MLB returns. We're hoping that all sports return. Do you think it's going to happen? Like, do you feel in your heart that it's going to happen?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I know Rob Manfred has been working really, really hard. The Players Association, is being in contact with us pretty much every single day, and they've been putting in the work also. So I think it's going to happen. I think definitely the fans are going to see baseball from home, not from the ballparks soon, at least not for the first couple of months, but hopefully this will pass and we can get some fans back on the field. But I think definitely we'll play baseball this season, and we'll get some playoff baseball also, and we'll have a champion this year as well.
Last question, most important one. I said earlier this week, I think Justin Gaethje can beat your boy Khabib. Am I crazy?
No. I mean, it's the fight game, man. Anything can happen. And Gaethje possesses great power, and the leg kicks are a lot, but I think the way I break down that fight is that Gaethje has only thrown 2 head kicks in his whole career, and they were against Tony Ferguson last Saturday. So whenever he wants up to throw a leg kick, it's going to be to the legs, and I think Khabib is going to recognize that. He's going to cast those leg kicks, and he's going to trip him like he always does. And once he's on the ground, he's on Khabib's world. He's on waters that he can swim on. So I think Khabib is gonna be a nightmare for Gaethje, just for the matter that his grappling game is next level compared to Gaethje, who doesn't like to go to the ground at all. But if Gaethje manages to stay up and defend the takedown, which is really tough to do, 28 guys have tried, 28 guys haven't been able to decode what Khabib is doing in the octagon, then Gaethje is going to win if it's a stand-up fight. But this is MMA, it's mixed martial arts, so the grappling is going to be too much, I think.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.